The void between stars was supposed to be empty. Commander James Harlow stood on the bridge of the UES Eternal Resolve, a Valkyrie-class destroyer cutting through the darkness at 0.4 light speed. The ship was nothing pretty to look at: scarred hull plates from 3 combat deployments, missile pods welded at odd angles after emergency repairs, and a reactor core that hummed like a wounded animal. But she flew. And she fought. "Contact," said Lieutenant Marcus Webb from the sensor station. "Unknown vessel. Bearing 270. It's big, sir." Harlow turned slowly. "How big?" "4 times our displacement. Energy signature is nothing in the database. First contact. Every officer in the fleet trained for it. Most never lived it." "General quarters," Harlow said calmly. "But keep weapons cold. Let's not start a war in the next 30 seconds. Aboard the Vreth command vessel Song of Dominion, Fleet Master Zalcor studied the strange object drifting into sensor range. It was small. Ugly. Asymmetrical in ways that offended Vreth engineering philosophy. "Scan it," he ordered. His science officer, Drell, pressed forward eagerly. The Vreth had catalogued over 400 spacefaring civilizations. Most were fragile things, soft bodies in thin metal shells, armed with weapons barely worth acknowledging. Whatever this was, it would take 30 seconds to categorize and file. The deep scan beam locked onto the human vessel. What came back made Drell go completely still. "Fleet Master," she said quietly. "I need you to look at this." The numbers didn't make sense. The human ship's hull was composed of layered ceramic tungsten composites rated to absorb energy impacts that would vaporize Vreth warships. Beneath that, reactive armor panels, designed not just to absorb, but to detonate outward against shape-charge weapons. Beneath that, a second inner hull of titanium alloy honeycomb. The weapons loadout was worse. 64 kinetic kill vehicles in forward tubes. Not energy weapons, physical projectiles, accelerated to a fraction of light speed. Against those, shields were meaningless. Point defense was near useless. You simply had to not be in the way. But it was the reactor that broke Drell's composure entirely. "They're running a contained nuclear reaction," she whispered. "Inside the ship. Intentionally." Zalcor stared at her. That destroys the vessel if it fails." "Yes," Drell said. "They do it anyway. And Fleet Master, this is a destroyer. Their smallest combat classification." Silence fell across the Vreth bridge like a stone dropped into deep water. Commander Harlow watched the alien vessel go completely still. No weapon locks. No maneuvering. Just sitting there. "They scanned us," Webb reported. "Deep scan. Medical-grade resolution." "Let them look," Harlow said. "Open a channel." The screen flickered. An alien face appeared, large violet eyes, a ridge of bony plates across the skull, 4-fingered hands gripping a console with what Harlow recognized, across all species barriers, as tension. "I am Fleet Master Zalcor of the Vreth Dominion," the alien said through a translator. "We scanned your vessel. We have questions." Harlow allowed a small smile. "Commander James Harlow, United Earth Ship Eternal Resolve." "Ask away." "Your armor. Your weapons." Zalcor paused. "Your power source. You use a nuclear reaction, inside the hull. Deliberately. Why would any species?" "Because it works," Harlow said simply. Another pause. "We also detected biological readings," Drell's voice came from off-screen. "Your crew, they show signs of prior physical trauma. Healed fractures. Scarring. Many of them. We've been in a few fights," Harlow said. "Your species continues fighting. After injury. Generally, yes. Zalcor looked at his science officer. She looked back at him with the expression of someone who had just understood something they desperately wished they hadn't. Humans did not build ships to avoid damage. They built ships to take damage and keep moving. They did not minimize danger, they contained it, lived inside it, and pointed it at their enemies. They were not a fragile species in a strong shell. They were a dangerous species that had built a ship to match themselves. Fleet Master, Drell said very quietly. How many of these vessels does their civilization operate? Harlow, as if hearing the question across the channel, answered before Zalcor could speak. The Eternal Resolve is one of 412 Valkyrie-class destroyers currently in service. He let that land. She's not our biggest ship. The channel stayed open. Neither side spoke for a long moment. Then Zalcor, Fleet Master of the Vreth Dominion, conqueror of 19 star systems, made the only logical decision available to him. Perhaps, he said carefully, we should talk.